Oh, I use my treatment strategies on myself all the time. I'll be sitting in didactics and I'll be learning a therapy technique, and I realize that it applies to me, and I'm like, oh, God. And I'll show you an example. We were filming the trailer for my podcast yesterday, and I was locking up. Have you ever tried to pitch a trailer? It's awful. Normally, I just talk to my phone like it's my friend, or I can talk about a discussion, and I can let all of my energy come out. I'm this exuberant, articulate person. But when it comes down to, hey, watch me next Sunday, right? You want to be there, guys. Come listen to my podcast where I talk. I couldn't do it. And I started realizing that I had this urge to be funny. And I thought, if I'm not funny, people are going to think I'm a failure. And I'd worked so hard on divorcing my sense of self-worth from my intelligence in this long drawn-out career in medicine that I didn't realize that my self-worth was now attached to comedy, which is this new whole problem. Now that I have you guys, and I love you, but also having this big platform that was built on a foundation of me being a funny guy has somehow intertwined itself with my self-worth, and I realized that I'm now insecure about it. So I played the thought out like I was in CBT with myself. Okay, you're worried that you're not funny. What's the evidence for that? Okay, you maybe said a joke that didn't land, or you froze up in the moment when you were trying to have a quip. And what's the evidence that you are funny? Oh, your entire platform. Okay. And my mom thinks I'm funny. I interrogate the thought, and I kind of assess it and say, okay, well, this is an automatic negative belief that I'm having. Then I also realized that I was catastrophizing. I had this thought that, okay, if I'm not funny now, then the producers of the podcast are going to go, oh, Preston's actually not this entertaining guy we thought he was, and they're going to drop me. And then when I get dropped from the podcast, then I'm going to lose all my credibility as a content creator, and then I'm going to be a failure. So that's a lot of pressure. That's something I would say to a patient in an interview. You don't crack a joke now, you'll be a failure for the rest of your life. And they're like, well, when you say like that, it sounds kind of silly. And I said that to myself. I was like, oh yeah. What's so bad about my podcast failing? I'll be exactly where I was before it started, which is not having a podcast. So I kind of sit here and I play out all the scenarios as I catastrophize like I would in therapy with a patient, and realize that, hey, this isn't a big deal. So this is a long drawn out way of saying you can do CBT on yourself if you know the techniques. If you can identify the problems in yourself, you can kind of work on them. It helps because when I walk through these unhelpful thought patterns with myself, it makes it easier to identify to my patients, and then we can work on it together with them.